Hello and welcome to Sosnovka Sovkhoz, episode 1 with me, Mr. Sealy P. So we are in Sosnovka, new gameplay series. These are the machines you start with on Sosnovka, Gold Edition, but I'm getting rid of them all. Sold them all. I'm going completely different start to the gameplay series. This is the machinery I'm starting with. It's not going to make a lot of sense to start off with. I've done the Down on the Farm series where I started part way through with a bit of money and some fields. I started on Westbridge Hills with nothing and I'm gradually building up. This one is a completely different start, showing you a different way, different option, however you want to look at it, of starting up your farm. So it looks a bit odd, and it is a bit odd, and it's not everyone's cup of tea. Some people want to get straight into farming. I have the Schluter. As I've said before, on my other gameplay series, if you haven't watched them, have a look. And on my tractor buyer's guide, 150 horsepower, brilliant bit of kit. I've got the truck dolly. I have got the JCB skid steer. I have got a manure fork, which any of you have seen my episodes before, I use for something other than manure. The stump grinder, another Schluter, and the low loader trailer. This Schluter is a gem. It pulls this no problem at all. Cheap tractor, 37,000 I think it was. I'm pretty sure one of my other episodes I said it was 27,000. It's not, it's 37,000. But I've sold all my stuff off, bought all that equipment. I've still got a bit of money in the bank. So logging is what I'm starting off doing. I've bought the equipment over. The other Schluter I am going to stick on a tree planter and get some trees into the ground. I'm going to cut some trees down here, ones that are already here. I'm going to cut some down further over the field as well. Yeah, and gradually work my way through. So speed through these a little bit. These are my first few trees I'm going to cut down. I'm starting off logging. That's going to be my income to start off my farming experience on my Sosnovka map. Conventional, non-conventional, you be the judge. I just sort of do something a little bit different to what I've done on my previous maps. So it's going to be a lot of logging. Some of which I will do off screen because obviously you're just going to get bored watching logging. And then as I build up a little bit of money each time in my logging sessions, I can then start buying my farming equipment. I have got the field you start off with that's got wheat in it, I believe. I haven't harvested that. I sold everything straight away. So that's still sitting there with wheat in it. So I'm going to need a harvester, whatever happens. I'm going to need tractors. I'm going to need all the usual farming equipment. I'm just starting off a little bit differently. Showing you that if you're on a map where you can log, and if you've watched my Westbridge Hills Welcome gameplay series, you'll know that logging proved difficult because there weren't a great many pine trees on that map to cut down. I still did some, still made a bit of money. And also on that one, when you sell for lumber, there's no train to send off or anything like that. The Westbridge Hills map is a tricky one to get started on. Probably, to be fair, for me starting from scratch, it's probably the worst map to pick to start from scratch from. But we're starting to build up on that map. This one, over here where the lumberyard is, there's a train. So when you've sold your lumber into there, it loads it up onto the train, you send the train off, and then you get paid again when it gets where it's going. So yeah, that's what I'm aiming to do. Bit of logging, build up a bit of money, start buying equipment. I'm going to buy equipment that helps me with my logging to start off with. So it will be a lot of forestry equipment to start off with. So whatever makes this job easier, the easier and faster I can make money, the better. So there's likely to be the Scorpion King, absolute must, that's a given. Probably a telehandler. I'm probably going to get the timber runner trailer, because I'm not just going to do logging here. I will go out, and there's other areas on the map where I can do logging. So with those bits of equipment, you can fill up the timber runner really quickly. So yeah, that's the plan. What sets of equipment I buy next, I'm not too sure. If I buy the harvester field, that's all well and good, but I'm going to need a tractor and a trailer to put it into and cart it. Once that's done, I am also then going to need cultivator, seeder, fertiliser. But the small ones you get when you start the map are small. They take ages. Like I say, if you watch the Westbridge Hills series, the time I spent using the small equipment, the Sampo Rosendu Comia C6 harvester, the small seeder, the small cultivator, it just took forever. So anyway, so getting rid of all the sort of standard pine trees that are around in this area by the lumberyard to start off with. You can start going further afield if you want to. And then once I've cleared a bit of this area, I'll probably do it off screen because it's one of the more boring things to watch, is plant some trees that can be growing as the gameplay series goes on. So I can go off logging elsewhere, but once they're growing and they're established here, I can come back and carry on logging here. You'll see later on in the episode what I'm talking about, because there is obviously the elephant in the room. If any of you have the more observant among you have noticed, as I've been kind of spinning around and selling stuff, there appears to be a rather large forest already there. And there is. You're absolutely right, and we will come back to that. But I'm waiting until I have got enough money to buy the Scorpion King before I start chopping down that part of the wood, forest, whatever you want to call it. So if anybody's wondering, if anyone's interested, whether they are or not, Sosnovka, Sovkhoz. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly or not. Sovkhoz means state farm. So we're on the Sosnovka state farm. Russian Federation's collapsed. No longer exists as a state farm, so we have got enterprising young farmers who are now buying up bits and using it. However, the state has left it in somewhat of a state, with all the bits and bobs all around the place, which includes a nicely planted forest, which was planted by state workers, ready for logging. So we are lucky enough to be able to use it. Happy days. So I'm going to plant some more, just to make sure that as I am cutting them down, I am replacing them. But we do have a forest that we can start logging on, which is good. Good news. Yes, I'm probably not going to repeat that about the what Sovkhoz means. So for people that join the gameplay series maybe later on, if anyone joins the gameplay series later on, they'll have to come back and watch the first episode to find out what it means, or look it up, which I suppose a lot of people will do. By a lot of people I mean possibly the one or two that watch it. Anyway, never mind. Right, skip ahead. Another one of my off-site logging trips. Loading up the low loader again. I haven't gone back over to get the timber runner. But I'll sell this load off. If I can line up the skid steer on here so it's a bit more level, otherwise it's going to be a bit of a problem. As I said before, this sloot is brilliant. Loaded up logs, no bother at all. bit of an interlude between driving them over here and actually unloading them. But until I can actually load or unload, I say properly, I'm not quite sure how that's going to work. Employing my rolling off the back of the low loader technique. Anyhow, the money is building up, which is good. And hopefully once I've got enough, I will send off the train and then buy the Scorpion King. That's the plan. Timber runner and probably a telehandler, I'm thinking. So came back over and parked up. It is now the morning and I believe our equipment is ready to be collected at the store. As you can see, our finances are depleted somewhat. What are we down to now? 60-something thousand, isn't it? Yeah, not a lot, but we have some shiny new equipment to help us in our forestry endeavours. As I said before, the timber runner and probably the telehandler I won't use just yet. That'll be when I go and do a bit of logging off site. But the wondrous Scorpion King I do need now. And because it's incredibly slow, I'm going to stick it on the back of the low loader and take it over. Again, the Schluter shouldn't struggle with this at all. It's a big old weight to have on the back of that trailer, but it should pull it, I think. No problem at all. I think what I will do, before I do that, is put the log fork on the front of this and then just park it out of the way so I've got bits of equipment scattered all over the place. Fantastic. If you watch me do logging on my Down on the Farm series, and I think when I did my how-to kind of episode on logging and wood chipping, which I have actually changed the way I do that a little bit now. Should I park it there? I'll put it inside. I think I'll put it inside in case of inclement weather. The Liebherr has got a wider wheelbase platform. It's more stable for doing logging. I will normally buy the New Holland telehandler for doing farm stuff, baling and all that kind of stuff. Scorpion King. This is a serious bit of kit. Really cool. Except I generally, every time I go to use it, forget how to use it. And it takes me ages. I will have to get out the automatic help bar for using this because I can never remember which controls do which. But it just about fits on the trailer. Really does just about fit on the trailer. And it's incredibly tall as well. But it's far quicker taking it on the loader than it is driving it across the map on its own. Right, it's on. I suppose I could have really dropped the boom a bit, shouldn't I, really, because it's quite tall. But it will be fine, I think. Get those rear ramps up. We will be good to go. I know it's not a conventional first episode. I don't know what a conventional first episode is, to be fair. There probably isn't a conventional first episode. But a bit different. If you're not into forestry, you don't do any forestry when you're playing the game, bear with me, please. Please. Because as the episodes progress, I am going to be buying the farming equipment, I am going to be buying fields, I am going to be doing regular farming. This is not just going to be solely logging on this map. But as I said before, it was just to show a different way of building up money at the start of the game to start buying equipment. There are all sorts of different ways of doing it. Building up a big head of money buying a wind turbine. I've said it all before. All my thought processes aired on YouTube, but yeah, it's just a different way of doing it. As you can see, the trees that I've been planting are growing healthily. There has been a period of time between me planting them and coming back with the Scorpion King, or buying the Scorpion King. But that will be an ongoing process from now on. Once I start logging the foresty side of things, every now and again I'll whiz over, grab a pallet of tree saplings, and I'll stick 20 in the ground, just so I'm sort of replanting for the ones I cut down. Now, I think should I cut one down, or actually no, I won't cut one down first. Maybe we should go for a wander. A wander into the forest. It's a very small forest, small wood, whatever you want to call it. But it's quite densely packed, this one. I know a lot of the maps, when you get the different maps and they have a forest on them, they're normally quite open. I think to give it that foresty feel, you put them really close together and the canopy kind of joins up and it's all quite dark. Gives it a more kind of foresty feel. But right in the middle, a nice little open glade with a bit of sunlight coming through, just where the canopy doesn't quite meet up. How interesting. Anyway, right, back out. And we shall commence with the destruction of that lovely forest and its wonderful little glade. I did my usual first few tree hiccups. First one, I didn't change the cut length, so I had lots of little chunks. Second one, I didn't press the correct button, so as soon as I chopped the tree down, I released it and dropped onto the floor, which meant I had to log it and cut it by hand with the chainsaw. So now, hopefully, I've got my eye in, and I shouldn't make any more mistakes. That is, of course, just a theory. Hopefully I won't. It's the beauty of having trees planted near the lumberyard. If you're thinking of doing it, yeah, you can go off and you can do forestry work and transport your lumber wherever you want to transport it, but planting trees over there so that once they're grown, it's far easier, quicker. So, slight skip forward. We have a few logs piled up. What I would usually do as I progress through this, what I'm thinking I'm going to do, is probably buy the wheel loader, one of the big ones. I must admit, I normally use the JCB wheel loader. I love a lot of horsepower, a lot of oomph, big old unit. I've never used the New Holland one, so I might buy the New Holland one. Don't know. We'll see. Put a big old bucket on the front of that, and that's normally got enough power. When you drop the bucket down, you can just push all this, or the log fork for it, and you can just push all of them straight into the sell point. You haven't got to do mucking around with this. Unfortunately, the skid steer hasn't got enough power to push that amount of logs in one go, whereas the bigger wheel loaders have. It's a bit of a gamble, because obviously the JCB's got the most horsepower. I will probably do it, no problem at all. I'm just worried if I buy the New Holland and it doesn't have the horsepower to do the job, it's been wasted money. Who knows? We shall see. I just think I've used the New Holland before, so it might be a bit of an interesting change. Right, those last few I can push in with the skid steer, which I shall do right now. In you go. Lovely. It's all money in the bank. And it will all pay for more equipment, new equipment, cool equipment. Right, 190,000. Next job then, send off the train. Right, what I will do before I move on is grind some of the stumps out. You can carry on just ploughing through, and that Scorpion King will pretty much ride over anything. It's pretty good, but just for me, I just do it myself. Get the stumps out, and then if at any point I've cut myself a big swath right through here, I can then plant some more trees in the gap maybe, and then I haven't got to worry about catching the plants or anything like that. Right, so all those stumps done over there. I'm sure there was a couple over here that I missed when I cut the trees down earlier on in the episode. I can't remember where they are. Oh, that wasn't bad. 121,000 wherever the train took them. Well, that's what I made. Nice little bit extra, so 312,000 at the moment. So just going to show, with a little bit of preparation, a few little bits of equipment to start off with, and then once you've got a bit of money behind you, get the old Scorpion King, and you can really start ploughing into those trees, and it does make a lot of money. But it's a means to an end. The money is to buy other equipment. If I was just doing the game to make money, I'd just log or silage or, and just pile that money up. But I'm earning the money to buy equipment. That's the whole point of it. So, I hope you enjoyed the episode. Something a bit different. We will do a little bit more logging, but I might do some off screen. And then start buying our farming equipment. Combine harvester, tractors, trailers, etc, etc. But I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you like it, subscribe. Any comments you want to leave? Leave a comment. It was lovely to see you. Hope to see you again soon. Thanks for watching.